Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Okay, it's your girl Riley. Don't ask about the glasses. I just felt cute today. I wanted, a little something different, right? You can also see the glare of my TV, so I'm gonna be trying my best to not be turning my head so much. Anyway, so today's video is going to be something that I don't know if I'm gonna struggle to explain this, because obviously I feel like it's a lot. It's a lot to explain. But if you get it on the first try, like, thank you, because you just make my life a lot more easier. So I kind of have a confession to make. And I promise it's not what you think. Okay, I promise. Like, it's not anything you need to worry about or anything like that. But I did want to address it. Okay, so first of all, as you guys all by now know, that me being not only gay but also being trans, there's a lot of stereotypes that come with being a part of the LGBTQ plus community, being a part of the trans community. There's a lot of stereotypes that a lot of people follow, and then there's people that don't necessarily follow them. And my confession to you is that I personally followed a lot of them, only because of the fact that, like, I was trying to convince people, like, yeah, I'm so trans, like, look at me, I love these things that all trans people love. And for the record, I don't want to make it seem that I'm trying to make the idea of being trans, like, a trend or anything like that, because to me it's like, it's not. Like, this is literally who I am. I just want to make it clear that I associate as a different type of trans person than the common stereotypical trans people. So that's kind of where I'm getting at, if you get what I'm saying, right? So, like, what I mean by this is that there's just a lot of things, and I will obviously get into examples that women are into, trans people are into, gay people in general are into, that I'm just not into them. And it's like, to me, it kind of made me feel like, if I'm not into them, then, like, I'm failing as a gay, or I'm failing as a girl, like. And I kind of had to come to a conclusion that, like, no, I'm not failing anyone, anything. I just don't like those things. I just don't get into these things like the entire community does. And I just feel like, for me, it felt very, like, pressuring to have to be into certain things, or be into certain, like, musicians and movie genres, and just like things like that. Like, I feel like this is kind of like a topic on fandom, whereas, like, the community of, like, being a girl, being in the LGBTQ plus community, like, a lot of people in the communities tend to be in certain fandoms, and it's become a stereotype where it's like, oh, like, just for example, oh, like, they're gay, like, so they must listen to Beyonce. And it's like, well, do you listen to Beyonce? It's like, not really. So it's like, it's like, are you by any chance failing as a gay, or is it that you're just different and you're very comfortable with who you are? And I feel like that's kind of where I've now found myself, is that, like, I no longer need to make myself feel like I'm trying to prove to anyone, like, yeah, look, such a good gay because I love and stream Beyonce. Like, I don't, And so I just kind of wanted to, like, run down a little bit of a list of things that I'm just not into, things I don't believe in, things that I just, like, don't associate so much with, that I don't know. You guys will let me know. Am I failing as a gay trans person, or a girl? Am I failing them, or is it just that I just live a different life than everyone else? I don't know. You guys let me know. But let's finally get into this, shall we? Okay, so the first one, I feel like I kind of made it obvious already because I kept referencing it. The first one is that I don't listen to Beyonce, and I don't have any problems with her as a person or as a musician. If anything, I feel like she's one of those people that it's like, I like you as a person, but, like, I just don't care much for your art. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, it's one of those where it's like, love the artist, but, like, your art's not really for me. You know what I mean? Or it's like, the opposite of, like, love the art, hate the artist. Except I don't have any problems with Beyonce or her music. Like, if that's what you guys are really into, like, you know, then that's for you guys. But like for me, like, I don't find Beyonce's music like for me, like, and not that it's bad, but it's just like I just don't vibe with Beyonce's music. Like I'm just not a Beyonce person, and like, you know, I appreciate everything she's done for our communities and stuff, but like I just don't listen to your music, girl. I'm sorry, okay? And I know that like I feel like this is probably the biggest one that like all the gays are gonna hate me for this, but you know what? I've come to the conclusion that I don't need to be like everyone else. So, you know. Okay, so this next one is one that I feel like I feel like this is like the one that really made me want to do this video in the first place. Like originally I was going to talk about just this, but then I kind of thought of more and I was like, well, let me just make a whole video of like bunch of different stuff, and that is that I consider myself a casual musical fan. And what I mean by that is that like I just don't get the hype for musicals. Like musicals for me, like they're not that important, they're not like that great like how people make musicals seem. And maybe it's because like I didn't get to have the full like theater kid experience when I was in school, because I mean I did theater for like a year, but I never got to, you know, experience like performing on a stage or anything like that. So it's like I guess maybe it could have been that like I just like I never grew up with like getting to really live that theater kid life like how originally I wanted to. And don't get me wrong, I still want to do like theater. Like it's still something that I would like to do. But I feel like when it comes to like movies and stuff like that, like I just like musicals like are just not really my thing. And the reason why I really wanted to talk about this one specifically is because I feel like everyone kind of assumes that I am a big musical fan when it's like I'm really not. Like I really don't care for musicals like how a big majority of people do, where it's like musicals, it's like it's their entire life. Like there's people out there that like they listen to nothing but like musical soundtracks, and it's like no offense to you guys, it's the same thing with like how I was saying about Beyonce. It's like if that's your thing, that's your thing, like good for you. Like I mean no disrespect to the theater community, I mean no disrespect to any musicals out there, I know it's all art. I mean, you know, for someone like me who's very much into film and things like that, I understand the hard work it goes into making a movie. I can't imagine a movie and a musical on top of like it's like two things in one, and it's like it's a big thing. Like I understand that. I just personally, I'm not, it's not for me either. Like, and that's the thing is that like I feel like all my friends who love musicals assume that I love musicals just as much as them, and it's like I wish I could just let you guys know that I don't care for musicals. I'm sorry. Like literally, like I have, let's see, I have 3 favorite musicals out of every musical that I've heard, seen. Okay, I have 3 favorite ones, and one of them is like the most basicest musical ever. And it's like I feel like if I told people like my 3 favorite musicals, a lot of musical fans out there would probably be like, really, those are your favorite musicals? Because like my 3 favorite musicals, right, are and this is going in order from third to first. Okay, so my third favorite musical is Mean Girls. Second place goes to Wicked, most basic one, but you know what, it's my thing. I love Wicked. And then in first place for me, Sweeney Todd. Those are my favorite musicals. And if it's not any of those, honestly, I don't care for musicals. It's just not my thing. Like Sweeney Todd is my favorite musical because of the fact that it's Sweeney Todd. Like you guys know I'm such a big horror fan. Like I'm a big horror girly, so obviously that was gonna bound to be my favorite musical. You know what I mean? Okay, this next one, believe it or not, but like I don't really like romance. Like, and what I mean by that is that like romance movies, I don't like them. They're just not for me. Like I feel like for me this is kind of like one of those things of like, it's like the equivalent of like people who don't watch like very futuristic like sci-fi fantasy movies because to them it's not realistic, which like obviously, dude, obviously. Who's watching movies like The Hobbit and like Star Wars and thinking like, I just don't like it because like it's not realistic. It's like, really? You really think that this is supposed to be realistic? You know what I mean? But like for me, romance, especially in movies, like I love romance books. Love romance books. I will give it that. But only certain romance books. I won't just read any type of romance either. And I feel like if you guys who know me in the book community, you guys know this about me. I mean, for crying out loud, my favorite romance books are monster romance and dark romance. That's like my favorite genre of romance. So if it's not that, I don't really care for it. And I feel like when it comes to books, like I'm willing to read like more on like the cutesy side of romance books. You know what I mean? But like, don't get me wrong, I love reading a romance book that has a very innocent cover, and then it turns out it's like smut back and forth, back and forth, and it's like I love that, you know, because that's just my thing. Also, but also because I probably just have a smut addiction, and also like I'm just not a romance girly. Like I'm not like, you know, bothered by it. Like I'm not gonna be like ugh, you know, because I know people who are like that, and to me it's like okay, it's not that serious. But also I just don't care for it. Like I don't care for romance. Like, and I feel like as a girl, like especially when I came out as a girl, like I felt very like I have to be into all this romance stuff, and it's like it's just not for me. And I feel like especially when it comes to like movies, TV shows, like I just don't get it. I don't like it, and it's just not for me. And like the whole thing with like love and all that, like don't get me wrong, I love like a love story, but like I don't care for certain love stories, you know what I mean? Like I'm like part of the reason why I gave up watching like Korean dramas is because like a good majority of like the entire section of K dramas romance, and it's like I'm tired of this. Like I'm sorry, but I'm just not a romance girl. Like, you know, like there's nothing wrong with a girl just being like, I don't care for romance. I don't want romance. Like I know the other day, I was with my friend, and she had asked me if I'm caught up on The Summer I Turned Pretty, because technically I did start watching The Summer I Turned Pretty, but only because I wanted to watch it for her. And I realized afterwards, I'm like, this show's not bad. I'm like, but this show's just not for me. And so I basically told her, I'm like, girl, I gave up on that show. I'm like, that show was not for me. So, but you know, again, as always, if it's your thing, it's your thing, and I can respect that. But it's just not my thing, okay? But if you do want to recommend a good romance book, those I'm always open to. But when it comes to like movies, TV shows, and you tell me it's a romance, I don't care for it. I'm sorry. It's not gonna interest me. It's really not. I mean, again, I'm a horror girly. Do you really expect me to be interested in stuff like that? Hey, this next one, this one I kind of felt like a little weirded about, just because it's like I felt very pressured into convincing people that I'm into this as much as people think I am. And I feel like it came with like a part of not just being like gay but also being trans, is the idea of being like obsessed with like cartoons, especially like at my age right now. Don't get me wrong, I love cartoons, you know. I still here and there watch like my favorite ones, which is quite literally Gravity Falls. Gravity Falls is like my all-time favorite cartoon. But like I feel like a lot of people, like especially with like the community, like a lot of people talk about like all these cartoons that I'm just like I either I've never seen them, or I didn't care for them when they were like, you know, airing on Disney Channel, for example, or I don't know, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network. There were certain cartoons that I grew up on that I like till this day. I'm like, yo, that show's good. But that doesn't mean that I'm just putting it on in the background every time like I want background noise, or that I rewatch it all the time because I'm like, I love this show so much, you know. I'm just not like that with cartoons, and I feel like a lot of people in the community are like really, really into like cartoons. And like, don't get me wrong, I mean no disrespect again, you know what I mean? Like I respect if you are really, really into cartoons. I mean, like I said, I still love my favorite cartoons. You know what I mean? Like, I still watch Gravity Falls here and there whenever I like feel like watching it. Um, but I'm just not one of those people. I'm just not one of those gay kids that still like grew up watching cartoons, and it's like I'm still watching them in my 20s, you know what I mean? And not that I'm saying I'm like too old for them either. It's just I just got into other stuff, you know what I mean? Again, I'm a horror girly. Like, you know, I'm over here watching shows like fucking American Horror Story, and like, you know, I mean Gravity Falls is a good one if you're in the horror community because it's not horror, but it is like kind of supernatural. It's like a supernatural type cartoon. Like, it's perfect, honestly. It's like my favorite show of all time. But you know what I mean, right? Like, I just feel like as I grew up, I kind of just got started getting into more things. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, like the only things I keep up to date with are my horror things. You know, like I love keeping up with like what horror movies are coming out, what is going on with certain directors, like, you know, new projects and stuff like that. So it's like I just don't focus on cartoons. Like, and I know the community like is like big on like, you know, we're adults who are obsessed with cartoons, and like that's cool. Love that for you guys. Love that for the community. Bless you guys for that. I'm just so stuck in the horror community that I don't care about anything other than horror. And you know, that's like everyone's over here talking about like all these great cartoons and stuff, and like saying that like how can you have never seen this show before? And it's like, dude, I'm over here watching what's gonna happen with the Saw franchise, which by the way Blumhouse did buy it. See, I keep up with horror more than anything else because nobody else would know that unless you're into horror like me. Okay, like I'm over here excited for I Know What You Did Last Summer because I just know for a fact that Jennifer Love Hewitt is gonna have me soaking wet in the movie theater. So that's what I'm into. Okay, and this last one is very I don't want to say problematic because it's like everyone has their beliefs clearly if you know, since we made it this far into this video. But I just personally, I don't believe in marriage. And I don't know if to say that that's like something that like I'm just like, you know, it I don't see it as like it's a stereotype for being a girl or anything like that, but it's just like I just don't believe in marriage. And I feel like there's a good chance that the reasoning for this is because like, you know, what I grew up seeing, I failed to be in a relationship all the times that I failed to be in a relationship, and like I just can't seem to date anyone. So I just don't, you know, it's like I said with the romance, like romance is just not my thing. um like I can appreciate it to a certain extent, you know, and I can respect you if you know, believe in marriage and like you're married, you know, I respect that fully. But it's just like a personal preference of mine is I just don't believe in marriage. Like marriage is not something that I want. Not even that it's something that like, oh, like if it comes to me, it'll come to me, and like I'm just gonna let it come to me whenever it does. It's like, no, I don't want to get married. I don't want to. I really don't want to get married. And I can probably do another video just talking about my full belief on marriage and stuff like that. But like I said, if that's your guys' thing, and if you're married and you're happily married, then that's, you know, that's beautiful, perfect for you guys. I know, I understand that marriage is a very beautiful thing. It's just not my thing. I don't believe in marriage because, like I said, I didn't grow up seeing marriage as a beautiful thing. And also, I tend to fail every time I try to be in a relationship, or, you know, whenever it comes to love, I always fail. So for me, it's like, is it me that's failing, or is love failing me? It's that type of shit. So it's like, it's just not for me, and I don't want it. Truthfully, like the thought of being like committed to a person, to that extent. Like, I could be with someone and last years with them, be last my entire life with them. Like, that's different for me. Like, I could have a partner and like we be together till the end. That to me is beautiful, and I know to a lot of people it's like, yeah, girl, that's marriage. No, I don't want to have any legal documents saying that we are legally married and sharing last name, whatever bullshit. I don't want that. And I'm telling you right now, I refuse to have it because I don't believe in it. Okay, I don't believe in marriage. I don't want to get married. Um, and it's one of those things that it's like I always like talk whenever I'm talking with like my friends and stuff like that. Like, I have mentioned here and there, like, oh yeah, like my future husband, you know. But it's like I feel like that's just a saying whenever you talk about like, you know, guys or girls, whatever, you know. But it's like, if we're being realistic though, I don't believe in marriage and I don't want to get married. So if you do hear me say things like that where I talk about like my future husband, my future wife, like, you know, don't take it seriously, don't take it literal where I'm actually talking about, you know, one day actually getting married, because it's just not for me. So yeah. Anyways, that is the end of this video, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope any of this made sense. I don't know, I thought this would be entertaining because it's like I said, I just feel like as a part of the community that love, I love being trans, I love being gay, I love being a girl. Those are three different communities, and all three of them have their own stereotypes, and there are just certain things that I do associate with, do like, and there are just things that I don't associate with and don't like. So everyone's different, we're all human beings, we're all into different things. But me personally, I just felt like, you know, for the longest time, ever since I did come out, like I was kind of playing a character to try to convince people like, look, I'm like full on like, you know, trans because like I do all this stuff, and I'm like gay because like I'm really into these things, and like, you know. And it's like, to me, it's like, that has nothing to do with me being trans, gay, being a girl. These are just things that I, as a human being, as me personally, I just don't associate with. So I kind of just took a long time to really understand that. And so that's kind of why I wanted to finally talk about this, because I was like, I've followed these mentalities for a while now, and it's not true. Like, I've kind of just quite literally been playing a character, and I'm only fooling myself because I make people, apparently, I don't know what it is, people just apparently assume that I'm really into musicals. I don't know at what point people assume that of me, but everyone just thinks I'm really into musicals, and it's like, I don't care for musicals. um but you know, I just wanted to make this clear, and I wanted to talk about it. And like I said, if you guys want me to go in depth into any of these, I definitely will. That'll make a really great podcast episode, so can definitely look out for that if you guys want. But anyways, I'm gonna go now because I'm currently rewatching, not rewatching, what am I talking about, I'm currently watching the new season of Ginny and Georgia still, so I want to go see what's about to go down. So I'm gonna go, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.